Welcome to She Said Scale, where we do business differently. Less grind, more strategy, and a low-lift revenue model that makes high cash months feel light as a feather. I'm Tristan Jean, your business strategist and social sales expert, and I built a spacious, scalable business that locks in recurring revenue so I don't reset to zero every month. And I did it without launching every 2 weeks, running on empty, creating a mass membership that saps the life out of me, or feeling like my business owns me. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Join me for conversations around the strategies that will simplify your sales, scale your business so that you never reset to zero and you can do it all in part-time hours. If you're ready to ditch the income roller coaster and finally create a business that pays you and gives you your life back, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe, grab your coffee and your comfy couch blanket because you know I have mine, and let's chat, my friend. Okay, so let's start with what's probably been on your mind lately. Maybe not out loud, maybe not even clearly, but subtly, something in the back of your mind, maybe that you felt in your body, that kind of, why does this feel harder than it used to feeling? So you haven't stopped showing up. Your offer didn't suddenly become irrelevant. You're still creating content, nurturing leads, opening doors, answering DMs, but something just feels off. Not broken, not dead, just heavier, stickier. The numbers are still trickling in. The leads are still coming in little by little, but the effort that you're putting in doesn't match the return. So you're still getting some interest, but it's just not converting like it used to. You're still launching and talking about your programs, but it feels like you kind of slipped into this more of convincing mode, like you have to convince instead of just calling in the right people. And if that sounds familiar, first of all, I just want to pause for a second. It's not you. It's not your audience effort. It doesn't invalidate your worth. It's just the evolution of buyer behavior and the fact that most businesses haven't caught up to it yet. So this episode is going to break that down. No fear mongering, no the algorithm is out to get you takes, just the real shifts that I'm seeing every single day behind the scenes in my business, in my clients' businesses, and the way that we are all being invited to sell smarter, not louder. So what's happening right now in online sales is not a crash. It's a recalibration. It's an invitation. And if you don't understand what's actually driving it, then you're going to keep trying to fix things that were never the issue. And it's just going to make your business all kinds of messy and muddy. So first of all, it's not a visibility problem, because that's the first thing we go to is like, oh, I'm losing followers. I'm not growing. I just need to be more visible. That's not the problem. If you have an audience, it's not the problem. So the next thing being shoved down our throats is messaging, that it's a messaging problem. And 9 times out of 10, for people who I work with who are making $2K to $10K, it's not even a messaging problem. What it actually is a structural problem. Your business is not designed to hold sales in the way that today's buyers are buying. So let's talk about it. Those premium, dreamium clients, the ones who used to convert in a 3-day launch or jump into DMs from just one post, aren't necessarily saying no. They're just taking longer to say yes. And anyone who tells you differently is not being 100% transparent. Why? Because any client, especially your premium clients, are risk averse. They are smart with their money. That's why they're your premium clients. And urgency without decision safety creates friction. So we've entered a new season of consumer behavior. Buyers are more self-protective. They're more researched. They're more knowledgeable. And they're more skeptical. They want more for their money, higher quality, better results. Not because they're unwilling to invest, but because they're not willing to be rushed. They realize that building their business, that increasing their income through support, through courses, through education, whatever you offer, is a long-term project. There is no reason for them to rush and jump into something because they're going to be building this for their lifetime. They're creating generational wealth. So they want clarity, they want decision safety above urgency. They wanted trust. They want to have trust more than that rush time. And they're already under pressure. They're trying to solve a problem. That's why they're looking at investing in you. And they really want relief and not more pressure. So they want to know that saying yes is going to bring them relief from some sort of pain point that they have and not more pressure to fix it fast. And what a lot of very successful creators are hiding behind a new download, a transformative experience, my latest transmission, follow along for my quantum leap. What they're really doing is just experimenting to see what can get their numbers back up. And instead of saying, hey, the landscape has changed, we're adapting, we're growing, we're moving with it, they're making you feel like you're behind them, when in reality, they're trying to navigate this new landscape too. Now, in all transparency, my leads are significantly lower than they were at this time last year. My passive sales are also down. I also stopped running ads at this time. But because I have a baseline of MRR locked in, I know what it is that creates safety in my business, that allows me room to explore what my audience needs to feel safe to click and invest. And then I can implement that with my clients. So one of my clients, who is a service provider, is filling up her group offer. And she came to me after a launch that looked pretty good on paper, but it felt just completely difficult and hard in her body. So she had some interest, she had signups, she had people in her DMs asking questions, but her conversion was way lower than it normally is. So first we looked at her offer. We did some market research on her audience to make sure it was all congruent. Her content was clear. Everything was good, but it was her sales structure that was pushing urgency before she built trust. So she compressed the buyer timeline so tightly into just a 5-day launch with heavy countdowns, quick bonuses, so that people who were ready emotionally didn't have time to really feel ready logically. They needed a little more space. They needed a little more space. Not more information, not more bonuses, just more space to settle into the decision. So we changed nothing about her offer, but how she structured the lead up. And we did relaunch again. And this time we extended her pre-launch runway. So we built belief before we pitched. That gave us time to analyze feedback, analyze questions, see how we needed to tweak our content. We use a lot of segmentation to talk to different buyer types in the way that their brain needs to hear it to feel safety. We did this in her content and in her sales emails. And the result was same product, doubled the conversion rate, and no panic. And it felt so much better. And her audience felt so much better buying. So here's the deeper layer that I want you to understand. Moving forward, I want you to look at it through this lens. If your sales feel like they're slowing down, if demand feels like it's down a little bit, if once hot leads are now just watching in the background instead of jumping in and buying, it's not that you're doing it wrong. It's that your sales process is still optimized for speed, but your buyers are moving at a pace that prioritizes safety. So inside my business, inside my mastermind, inside my cohort, inside my one-on-ones, we've stopped chasing speed and we're creating around decision safety. So instead of how fast can I build this offer, we're asking how can we design this sales process to hold high cash months without pressuring our audience? And we do this by using internal buying triggers like unmet desire activation, emotional and decision safety. So we do this through internal buying triggers like identity alignment, making sure that our content and our offer reflects the person that your dream client wants to become. Creating emotional safety. So marketing that feels really good, not bullied, not fear mongering, not fear of missing out, but marketing that helps them feel safe, not judged. And that's what creates that feeling like, oh, she gets me. I want to buy from her. Unmet desire activation. So this is what they've been sitting on. Maybe they haven't even really articulated, but we tap into it and show it to them. And this one is really important when we're creating decision safety, and that's decision empowerment. So you want your dream client to feel powerful, aligned, smart for investing, not manipulated. Because in reality, your dream client is investing in themselves, not in you. And that's exactly how you want them to feel. You want them to feel like, I made this decision from a place of safety and joy. And then also belief shifting. So this is a big part in dissolving objections too. So showing them what they think the problem is and what the actual problem is and what they need to get there. Then we take all of that as well as our high value problem, high value desire messaging, and we build this into our sales process. So we build pre-pitch belief stacking into our content plan. We are extending the sales runway. So no more rushing. We're extending it to account for real human behavior. And we are creating highly segmented pathways through our funnels and messaging based on our lead temperature and buyer types. And then we're also diagnosing friction points through conversion behavior, not just on how we feel, but what are the friction points that the data shows. And this is exactly what my buyer flow method was built for. It's not a hype system. It is a decision safety system that stands the test of time, that will help your business do the only 3 things that your business only has to do, which is generate leads, turn them into buyers, and retain them for longer to increase their client value. So let's bring it back to you, because that is what this is all about. If you're feeling like your business is losing momentum, if you're feeling those signs of burnout, not just in your body, but also in your conversions, and you're wondering, do I need a new strategy? Should I change my offer? Do I need to rebrand? Do I need messaging? Do I just need to push harder? I want to offer you a pause, not a quit, not a pivot, just a moment to ask yourself, is the way I'm trying to sell actually aligned with how my buyers are making decisions? Because that is the entire game now. Not who's loudest, not who's flashiest. It's about who is the safest, who builds trust the fastest, who designs sales structures and systems that give the buyer what they need before asking for the conversion. And if that is not built into your business yet, that's the recalibration that I would love to guide you through. A lot of times you don't need to completely burn your business down. You just need to figure out what's already working and turn it into a business model that holds. You need a little bit of restructuring to hit those higher cash months that you've been waiting for.
That's it for this episode. If it felt like I was speaking directly to what you've been circling around, good. This series wasn't built to inspire, it was meant to clarify. When you're ready to step into structure that sells, you know where to find me.